you know, the death of self, the death of ego to be raised again to a new life, a new person.
The spiritual.
And so you're a new
awakening.
person. Yeah, it's beautiful. It's a beautiful conversation to have with a new person.
Yeah.
So what are you doing right now? Like, what has the Spirit of God led you into?
A whole bunch of things. So first of all, I'm a dad now. I have a 1-year-old boy, which is pretty awesome.
Man, congratulations.
Start with that, right?
How old are you?
42, 41, 42, somewhere like that.
I'm 46. I'm 40. How old am I?
I think
47.
48.
Age doesn't matter, though.
Am I 48? I think I'm 47.
Age doesn't matter.
I turned in COVID, so it's like I don't really know what
too.
age I am. No one celebrated me. Well, it forced people to celebrate me, but it was early COVID, so it wasn't like a. I like to go to Montreal to do a little food experience and stuff, but we couldn't do that.
Okay.
My point is.
Yeah. No, I'm 3 years old. Really, you asked me how old. Ask me how old I am. I'm 3 years old. I'm 5 years old, right?
That's a lot of work to have a kid.
But
My friend Josh has like 3 of them.
So he's 7.
And I'm good for about 4 hours, and then I'm like, all right, gotta go home. I'm exhausted.
Wow, my mind just went really off there. We're gonna cut that part.
No, it's okay.
Okay, yeah. So my life now. So this is a shirt actually from my church. I go to Life Center, and I found Life Center 5 years ago, and now I'm actually head usher at the Life Center Church. I'm doing service for them, right?
Right on.
I'm. It said all in for a reason, right? So that's what the new life entails, right? It's trying to go all in good stuff rather than all in drugs. It's going all in helping people, all in serving God, all in helping the next addict and the next alcoholic, right? So my new life, my adult life is about others, where my child life, and it kind of makes sense too. My child life is about me. My previous life was about me, where my new life is about others, right? And it's
that's beautiful.
Yeah.
So you just brought up like step 3 is turn my will and my life over to the care of God.
Yeah.
So people are like, whoa, what's the will of God? Well, if you know what your will is, it's probably the opposite.
Pretty
so you're
much.
just saying like my will is about me,
and
God's will is about other people.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
Right, the big book of Alcoholics Anonymous is one of my favorite lines, and it says much of our spare time is spent in this sort of way, and that's helping others and working on myself, making myself a better person, and helping others. So much of my spare time, I have my work life, and I have my family life, and then I have my spare time. And how much is much of my spare time? It's 3/4 of my spare time. 4/5 of my spare time is spent in that sort of way, and that's my life, right? And it's a wonderful. Like I'm getting a chill actually thinking about it because it's a way to live, right?
So then, what do you do for work? Like, you have this work life.
Yeah,
what is that work life?
Well, you always ask questions you know the answer to.
I know the answer.
I was going to say that earlier. So now I'm working at a treatment center, a Christian treatment center.
What did you do 3 years ago?
I was doing drywall I worked as a drywall contractor. I was making a ton of money, and I was very happy with that. And
okay, wait. You said you work at a rehab center now.
I work at a rehab center now.
Okay, but you're a drywaller, and you have a grade 10. So, like, did you go and get a doctorate? Did you take a psychology degree? Like
I did. I had a doctorate in spiritual awakening.
Yeah, that's right.
Right. So it's a great question, right? So I'm a grade 10 dropout. I've been a crackhead I hate calling myself a crackhead, but it's true. I've been doing drugs and thinking to myself and stealing and lying for 20 years of my adult life since I was 16, right? And then I get 6 months sober, and I get asked to work at this treatment center, and it's like. It's unheard of. One of the guys in the treatment center had more sobriety than I did, right? So,
that's humbling, eh?
Well, it is very humbling.
That's how you destroy ego.
But the best part about it is him and I are great friends today too, right? And he credits my presence as a help to him to get through the program, right? So that's part of the spiritual awakening, right? I wasn't the one who got the job. God got me the job, and I've been working there ever since. And so where it's funny, much of our spare time is done in this sort of effort. I get my work time in it too, but that doesn't count from my recovery. So
they're actually paying you.
Yeah, I guess you call
it. Does it pay as much as drywall?
It pays 1/10. I'll tell you this story. My sponsor is actually the director of the treatment center, and that might have helped me get the job. But I think it was
put in a good word.
I still think it was mostly God. So he for years, I used to hurt myself. I got back pain, and I used to hurt myself once or twice a year and not be able to drywall for a couple of weeks. And he always told me, he said, maybe you should think of something else. And I was too prideful, and I was too stuck in self, and I was making $70,000 a year. So I'm like, there's no way I'm ever choosing something else. And then I was in prayer one night, and God said, maybe it's time you choose something else. And I said, okay, God, open doors for me, right? You know, I need you to open a door for me. And literally the next day I was in Harvey's, and I used to work, I said I worked in the restaurant field, right? I used to work at the Swiss Chalet. I love the job. And I'm looking over across the cash, and the manager comes by and says, what are you looking at? I said, I used to work here. He says, well, do you want a job? I said, no, you don't pay enough. The day after I start this prayer, I go to my bed that night and I pray, God, can you please just open doors for me? And I think he's like, really? Really? I just opened this door for you, right? So the next morning I'm in my car and I'm driving back to Swiss Chalet, and I call my sponsor on the way over. And I said, look, I'm finally going to humble myself. I'm going to quit drywall, and I'm going to get a cheaper paying job, and I don't know where it's going to lead. And he said, again, I believe it, but he said no word of a lie. Just that morning, he was in the shower, and he said God put on his heart to hire me at the treatment center part-time. So the same day that I finally humbled myself to go get a new job is the same day that
wow.
this man had put on his heart to go. What's even cooler is I'm still selfish, and I'm still greedy, and I'm still a prick. So he was going to offer me a part-time job, and it was going to be starting in 2 months. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to do drywall until then, and I'm going to do drywall on the side. I'm going to do drywall 5 days, and I'm going to do the rehab treatment 3 days. And God was like, he's telling me no. He's like, he told me, well, Kevin, just let his name out.
You can do that.
Kevin, my sponsor, also told me, he said, that's not going to work. He says, you can't do both. You got to choose one or the other. And God kind of put the same nudge on me. So I kind of prayed to God. I said, because I knew myself too. I'm like, you're right. I'm going to choose drywall 9 times at a time. I'm going to choose drywall over this job. I make some money. I need money.
It's almost like you're powerless.
Right? Well, we're making the right choice
to
there.
make the right choice and to work.
Right.
Because if you're making the choice, then you're going to get your results.
That's a bang on, because it's